They have their private jets. They didn't have that in the 80s. They took trains to games. Charles Barkley said there were times where they played a game in New York and then they went to Philly and they took a damn train. The next day they had a game to play.
How do you think 6'4", 260-pound Charles Barkley would fare in this NBA? How do you think a 6'4" power forward would do in this NBA, Brian?
What do you mean fair? I don't understand. What does that have to do with this argument?
Charles Barkley was an all. I'm saying the competition's not even remotely the same.
That's ridiculous.
Charles Barkley was an all-star for multiple years. He was 6'4" at power forward.
Let me tell you something.
Name one power forward.
Give me 3 players that are top 5 players of all time in the NBA today. You give me this crap. Basketball was better in the 80s than it is today. Make no mistake about it. Players were better. They were more physical and they were tougher.
Who says? Wait, first of all, Brian, they were worse athletes then than they are now. I disagree. By a lot.
Disagree. 150% to Robert Parrish is absurd. I disagree with you.
He is your standard 7-foot or 7'1" center in the last 15
standard?
years.
You think Robert Parrish was standard?
In this day and age, yes. Back then was a monster, of course, but the players are bigger and they're more athletic now across the board, Brian. And Kawhi Leonard, if he wants to take a day off, considering the fact that he suffered a major knee injury 2 years ago.
That knee injury, he's recovered from that knee injury, so stop talking about the injury. He's healthy now.
Do you know that for 100% that he recovered?
Yes, he has said that he is healthy.
Okay, then
he said it.
So you think he's just choosing not to play?
Okay, a couple weeks ago, before the season started.
You don't think it's an injury precaution thing?
I'm answering your question.
You actually don't think it's that?
A couple weeks ago, before the season started, he said he felt great. He said he was 100% and he was ready to go. Now, why would a player say he feels great and he's 100%?
Is there any chance that after playing 90 or 100 games against high-level competition and winning an NBA title that maybe his knee doesn't feel as good?
Let me ask you a question.
So since he said something a year and a half ago, it must be true today.
Let me ask you a question.
Change?
Let me ask you a question then. To a family that picks a game, they might go to only 1 or 2 games versus the LA Clippers in LA. It is arguably the best team in the East, I would say, and that's the game that everybody marked on their calendar. Hold on, let me finish.
They're definitely a top 3 team.
Okay, well, let me finish. Giannis, against Kawhi, arguably 2 of the best players in the league, or I'd say maybe top 5, top 10, whatever. So a family decides to spend $600, $700, $800 of an income of maybe $40,000, $50,000 a year. They load up and they spent $700 or $800 to bring their family to this game to watch Kawhi Leonard and their Clippers diehard fans. That Kawhi Leonard is not playing, not because he's hurt, but because he wants rest. And it's this stupid NBA load management.
Okay, so he's a jester.
Are you okay with that?
He's a jester. You care more about a NBA player appeasing a family who can't go to too many games to risk their own career.
No, I don't care about it. I don't care. No, disagree. Let me finish.
Kawhi Leonard is clearly entertainment, and that's it.
I don't care about him.
He's not a human being.
I don't care about him.
He's just entertainment.
That's ridiculous. I don't care about him appeasing a family. I care about him maintaining the credibility of the league. And I am not okay with any NBA player that makes millions and millions of dollars to play basketball, to play games, to not play, not because they're hurt, but because they want quote-unquote rest. This isn't some cubicle that you're working in taking a sick day, okay? That would actually be better than what they're doing, okay? Because you're actually legitimately sick. Okay. If Kawhi Leonard called in to the NBA and said, hey, you know what, I got the flu, I would be totally okay with that. But this is crap, and you know it.
I don't know it. I would have no issue with I would have an issue with this if Kawhi Leonard did not have a serious knee injury 2 years ago.
It's not an injury right now. He's fine.
Is because of something he said a year and a half ago? You don't know that.
He just said it 2 weeks ago. He's healthy.
Is the load management rule only applicable to those who have suffered major injuries in the last couple of years?
You mean the wuss management rule? Let's call it that.
Just answer the question.
It's the wuss management.
Don't spin it.
I'm not spinning anything.
Is it only applicable to players who have suffered major injuries in the last couple of years, or is it anyone?
I'll tell you,
who can get this?
It is only applicable. If I can speak properly, it's only applicable if you are currently injured, if you're not able to participate because of sickness, illness, or injury. That's what is called being on the injured reserve. That's why they have that in the NBA. He is not on the injured reserve. He's not hurt.
No, but this isn't the IR. This is a different rule. What makes you eligible for this rule?
You can be eligible for this rule if the team writes something up and the staff and the trainers write something up saying, hey, we don't want to re-aggravate this injury. What they can do is make up an excuse. It's what Greg Popovich did for years with this crap. They make stuff up because they want the players to rest.
Wait, Greg Popovich won how many NBA titles.
That's not the
in a 10-year
argument.
span.
It's not the argument.
Maybe he did that because he rested his players when other coaches
the
didn't.
NBA
and they
allowed him to do
and they
it.
had more to give in the NBA playoffs. The regular season doesn't matter that much to these teams because
it matters to the fans that pay a lot of money.
They know that they're.
You're okay with it?
I would not be okay with it if he didn't have an injury, but since he had a major injury, I don't have a problem with it.
For the record, the last several years, LeBron James has done that. He wasn't hurt. He just took nights off. In fact, there was one night he took off in L.A. last year when he decided to record a rap album with somebody.
And LeBron James is how old? 42 minutes a game for the last 14 years on
Cannot
three
believe you are
different teams.
defending this.
I'm just saying.
I am shocked
Brian,
that you are defending this.
You want James to play every single game he can.
To play him 48 minutes.
He's 36 years old.
Start him in the game. Let somebody. We got to take a break. Let a kid watch him play for 5 minutes if you're going to spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
You want to sit him down for the second half.
You are treating these athletes like they are only entertainment,
and you're treating
their health doesn't make a difference.
Treating these athletes as if it's not an actual job where they're not getting paid $30 million a year. It's absurd. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to disagree on this one. We will continue this conversation tomorrow. But coming up next, it is our Dirty Dining segment with Darcy. Okay? What restaurants do you not want to go to in Las Vegas? Take a break. Be back after this.
Kilmeade, Hannity, Levin, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN, Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Christmas impeachment, witness restrictions. I'm Mike Moss. The impeachment inquiry in the House could be done before the year is over. More from correspondent Manu Raju on Capitol Hill.
Democrats in the House are now signaling they're on a fast track on their impeachment probe. I mean, a number of new steps they have taken that show that President Trump could be impeached by the end of the year in just a matter of weeks.
Prosecutors are moving quickly in the trial of Roger Stone, charged in special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Correspondent Shimon Prokupes reports Stone's contacts are getting focused.
The agent that's on the stand is testifying about the contacts that Roger Stone had, the numerous ways in which he was communicating with members of the Trump campaign about his information, about his access to WikiLeaks and what he was trying to do.
Vice President Mike Pence signed the official papers today to put the Trump-Pence team on the ballot for the New Hampshire GOP primary.
On behalf of the President of the United States to add his name to the ballot, we look forward to being through the Granite State again and again.
With Mexican soldiers guarding the entrance to the town of La Mora, Mexico, hundreds are attending the first funerals for the 9 American men and children killed in an ambush by drug cartel gunmen. Family member Julian LeBaron.
The people that did it to provoke some kind of reaction. In other words, some kind of, they use these people as bait of some kind.
A judge ordered President Trump to pay $2 million to a collection of nonprofit organizations as part of a settlement with the New York State Attorney General's office to resolve a civil lawsuit that alleged persistent violations of charities law that included unlawful coordination with the 2016 Trump presidential campaign. On Wall Street, stocks are up on better news about trade negotiations with China, the Dow up 232. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads in the KDON Traffic Center.
This report sponsored by Sam and Ash. Watch for slowing for crash I-15 northbound at the 215 Southern Beltway, blocking the right lane, slowing from Silverado Ranch Boulevard. Also an accident I-15 North Sahara at the exit ramp. And on the 95, an accident northbound at Las Vegas Boulevard. On the surface streets, accident with injury sustained reported Charleston at Valley View Boulevard. Police and fire at the scene expect slowing and lane restrictions. You deserve accident attorneys who are in your corner and do what's right. You deserve Sam and Ash. Call Sam and Ash 24/7. 1-800-304-2000, 1-800-304-2000. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Blue Emu Lidocaine Cream and Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Cream both are deep penetrating and odor-free. Beat the pain 2 ways and live life. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink. Available at nationwide retailers.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet. 99 cents plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pod sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
Best inventions of all time? The wheel, obviously. Cheeseburgers, no brainer. And of course, Tempur-Pedic mattress technology. Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress. Save up to $600 on one of those magnificent Tempur-Pedic mattress sets at our Veterans Day sale. Plus, we'll throw in a $300 gift with purchase. You want more? Okay, 72 months, no interest financing, and free delivery. Best service, best selection, best prices, best mattress. Sleep easy, friends. See store for details.
Las Vegas's only FM news talk station is right here. The new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Sharp and Joe rolling out hour number 3. Big announcement to make. As you know, we've been talking about this new homeless ordinance that was put into place. And what better person to have with us coming up here at the bottom of the hour than the mayor herself. So Carolyn Goodman will be joining us live here coming up at the bottom of the hour, about 35 minutes or so. And we will ask her about this very controversial decision. I think it's fair to call it that. There's a lot of people that are divided on this issue. I certainly don't agree with it. But we'll talk to Carolyn about it and tell us why she decided to put this into place to fine someone up to $1,000 and send them to jail for up to 6 months for basically living in the streets and being homeless. So we'll talk to her about that coming up again at the bottom of the hour. It will be Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman. But joining us on the line right now, always love when she comes on for her weekly Dirty Dining segment. That would be Darcy Spears. Darcy, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning, and thanks again for having me. I love to be with you guys.
Yeah, I always appreciate it when you come on, and, you know, we hear from all these different people, hey, you got to go to this great restaurant. You got to go to this place. It was fantastic. But on the other side of things, I think it's important to do what you do and warn us about some of these restaurants that are breaking health code. So let's start off with Hash House A Go-Go. Now, I've been to this place at the Plaza Hotel before. In fact, I was there at their grand opening, and I like their food. They have a couple locations in town. But my understanding is you found out that there was a cockroach infestation there. Tell us about this.
Yeah, the word multi-generational cockroaches came into play here. That's one that typically catches people's attention because when that's the case, multi-generational means many generations, as in you got the granddaddy cockroaches all the way on down to the babies, which means they've been breeding and they've been there for a while. And that was what health inspectors discovered at Hash House A Go-Go at the Plaza. One thing we pointed out in our report was that inspectors were actually able to count more than 50 German roaches on the hotline where the food is and in the back prep area. So you kind of have to know that when inspectors can see and tally that many up with the bare eye, just how many are there that they can't see?
German cockroaches. I wonder if the president of the United States has reached out to their president for assistance. I'm sorry, horrible.
Angela Merkel and says, "Why are you sending us?"
Yeah, horrible joke. Horrible joke. Well, that's absolutely disgusting, Darcy. So what's gonna happen there? Are they still open?
So yes, they were shut down because there were enough roaches for it to be deemed an imminent health hazard. But they did work to clean up. They were back to a 0 demerit A grade on October 25th. After being shut down on October 24th. So they took it seriously and they dealt with it quickly, but clearly it took the health district coming in to shut them down to make them do that because their pest control records indicated an ongoing presence of cockroaches as well as many holes that needed to be sealed, excessive grease buildup throughout the facility that needed to be cleaned up. So, you know, when I spoke to the owner on the phone, he acknowledged that, yeah, we knew they were there and clearly what we were doing wasn't enough.
Now, JD, I know you're a fan of Hash House A Go-Go. In fact, you've taken me there. Will this, even though that what Darcy just explained, you know, they got their A grade and they're back to normal, will this affect you as far as going there?
Well, they have a lot of different locations, Brian.
So you're ready to go. Keep eating your Hash House A Go-Go, but you're ready to go somewhere else.
Because there's nothing like a cockroach in your waffle that makes you want to say, I'm hungry. Anyway, all right, Darcy, let's move on. Tacos La Chata. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so this place got 2 imminent health hazards. Tell us what's going on. By the way, where is this place located?
So Tacos La Chata is a food truck, and they they're typically, they park outside a tire store, one of those Llanteria tire stores on East Charleston. Because they're a truck, of course, they're mobile. But like when you look them up online, you'll find that they, I guess, tend to spend most of their time parked outside of this tire shop on East Charleston. But even though they got the most demerits, 37 demerits is not enough demerits to shut a place down. You would ordinarily get a C grade with that. But health inspectors also discovered 2 imminent health hazards on this truck. No water, as in not no hot water, just plain old no water. Guess what you can't do when you don't have water? You can't wash your hands. You can't wash your utensils. So that plus inadequate refrigeration, meaning the food's not being properly held at the proper cool temperature. It was strike 1, strike 2, and shut down.
Ooh, these trucks.
Oh, and they were preparing food at someone's house. They didn't even have a commissary where they were able to prepare the food. So the beans, the salsas, the rice, that stuff was being cooked in somebody's kitchen at their home, and you never know what that looks like.
Okay, so hold on. Let me go back here. That's unbelievable to me. So this food truck.
Back up.
Yeah. This food truck, they couldn't cook the beans and some of the other stuff in the truck. Something wasn't working properly. So they went to like a friend's house and cooked it in the kitchen and then took the food back to the truck and sold it?
Who knows? It could have been the owner's home, the guy who owns the food truck. It could have been his house. It didn't say in the health inspection whose house it was. It just said that the food was homemade.
Oh, my God.
Which has a nice ring to it. You want homemade food,
You
so
do,
to speak,
right.
but not in a kitchen that can't be inspected.
True.
I totally agree with that. So food trucks are a big deal these days, not just in Vegas, but all over the country, especially on the West Coast. What is the standard protocol for cooking and having a food truck?
Well, they usually have to be affiliated with a commissary, which is a place not only where they can store their product properly, but also prepare it. Of course, there's quite a bit of food prep going on the truck itself, and they have to have the proper equipment to prepare it, just like a mobile restaurant, which is why they're also subject to the same inspection rules as a stationary restaurant.
If you're just joining us, it's Darcy Spears from ABC 13 doing our Dirty Dining segment, and of course she does her weekly segments on this as well. And there's another restaurant that we want to go over with you, and it received a C grade on October 22nd. That would be the Flour and Barley at the Link. Now, I've gone to the Link plenty of times. I've never seen this restaurant. Tell us a little bit about it, and what did you guys find out?
You know, we've actually come across, I want to say this is the 3rd facility at the Link that's been on recently. Flour and Barley Brick Oven Pizza is the restaurant that got the highest demerits. We obviously just talked about Tacos La Chata, the food truck, but the actual restaurant with the highest demerits was Flour and Barley Brick Oven Pizza at the Link with that 32 demerit C grade. The violations inspectors noted there were they had chicken on the cooktop and food at the pizza station that had been held beyond the 4-hour time limit. Time limits are important because if you're using time as a control to determine freshness and proper temperature, you're only allowed to do that for a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. So it expires, so to speak, after that time. But speaking of expired food, this place had expired pesto sauce that was more than 2.5 weeks old. They had expired bolognese sauce, and if you know what that is, that's a meat sauce that was 11 days old.
Wow.
They had a whole bunch of flies in the facility, so they had some issues, and that's what got them up to that 32 demerit C grade.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had a pretty good appetite. I was getting ready to go to lunch. These stories certainly
ruined it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, here's one that really got my stomach turning. Okay, first of all, a place that's called the Sea Salt Oyster Bar. It sounds like, wasn't there an oyster bar that in Police Academy? I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken myself. I remember that movie.
I have no idea.
But anyway, this is a repeat offender, and nothing gets you more hungry than hearing about a restaurant and then a sewage leak. This is just the worst. So what the hell happened at this place, Darcy?
So the saving grace for Sea Salt Oyster Bar, and yes, it is a repeat offender. They've been on once before, actually not too long ago. It was in 2019, just earlier this year. But the saving grace for them for this week is that the sewage was leaking outside the restaurant. It wasn't spewing up through the floor drains inside the kitchen. But restaurants are responsible for their waste. And when you've got sewage coming up through your grease interceptor, running into the gutter, down the road, onto Bermuda, that is a pretty serious environmental hazard. And they had a broken pump that the owner said they didn't know, and then as soon as they knew, they got it quickly fixed. But you have to be a responsible neighbor when you're a restaurant, and in this case, it appears that failed.
Oh, just absolutely nasty. Darcy, you do such a great job with this stuff, and this information people need to know about. I wanted to give out that information real quickly if you can. Tell me exactly when these reports are going on TV and where people can find you.
Appointment viewing, my friends, every Wednesday night on 13 Action News Live at 11 p.m. You get your Dirty Dining debut. If you're asleep at that time or you don't DVR it, join me again on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. for the re-air of our Wednesday night piece of the week. And then, of course, we're always there for you online, ktnv.com. You can find me, Darcy Spears, on Facebook, on Twitter. I always post the link to my reports on Thursday mornings after they air on Wednesday night. They're also on the KTNV 13 Action News Facebook page. And one thing I wanted to point out to everybody, when we do like chain restaurants like Hash House A Go-Go where there's multiple locations, we always get people asking, what about this location? What about the one in the Rio? What about this other one? I just want to remind people that if you have any questions about any restaurant, go to the Southern Nevada Health District's website. It's southernnevadahealthdistrict.org. You can click on the restaurant inspections search link, and you can look for any restaurant you want to see what their current grade is and what their violation history is.
Well, Darcy, I'm a big fan of what you do. You really do a great job, and we always appreciate it when you take some time to join us. And I hate to say it, but I actually look forward to more disgusting stories of restaurants next week.
See, and I love it because I don't eat for 3 days after. And I think I've actually lost 7 pounds now since you started coming on the show, Darcy. So thank you,
Darcy. You're helping us lose weight. We really do appreciate that.
The Darcy Spears diet.
I like it. I like it. Stay away from those cockroaches, Darcy. I appreciate you coming on. We'll catch up with you next week, okay?
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Darcy.
Always love it when she comes on. That's Darcy Spears from ABC 13. I also remind her, Carolyn Goodman will be joining us here in about 15 minutes to talk about this very controversial new ordinance that was put in place when it comes to the homeless. But when we come back, you want to talk about controversy. The rapper T.I. has admitted taking his daughter for virginity tests. This guy is absolutely nuts.
That was wild.
Yeah, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you about this. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
This is Harry Jacobs from Credit Restoration of Nevada, inviting you to join me for the Credit Show, Saturday mornings between 9 and 10, here on the new 101.5 FM and 720 AM, KDON.
Psst, Bob, quick, the neighbors. There they go again. Jeez, it's like clockwork. Every weekend, he grabs his clubs, she grabs a duffel, and they're gone for the night. And when they come back, they look so relaxed and happy. Where do you think they go?
Well, they're not rich, so it must be affordable. Maybe some kind of marriage retreat?
Oh, right, with golf clubs. And she looks so refreshed.
We could use some of whatever it is. Go ask them when they get back.
Well, they're back. And you won't believe it.
Surprise me.
They've been going to Casablanca Resort in Mesquite on that $99 room and golf getaway. Sometimes they go for the $99 room and spa getaway. They love it.
Hey, we can afford $99, and it's only a little more than an hour's drive. Let's treat ourselves.
Book your $99 room and golf or spa getaway today at mesquitegaming.com or call 877-GETAWAY. Casablanca Resort in Mesquite, just like Vegas used to be. Must be 21 years or older.
I feel great, the kind of great you feel when you luck into a parking spot right up front. The kind of great when you score one of those jumbo-sized candy bars at Trick or Treat. Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress, and you can feel great too. Here's how. Right now at the Best Mattress Veterans Day sale, save up to $800 on the brands you know and trust. Serta, Sealy, Beautyrest, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. And 72 months no interest financing. Feeling great already, aren't you? Best Mattress, home of the 120-day sleep easy guarantee. See store for details.
Hi, Doug Basham here. Join me Saturday afternoons from 2 to 4, and I'll tell you what your conservative, corporate-controlled, right-wing propaganda hate media isn't. You're welcome. That's Saturday afternoons, 2 to 4. Be there.
This is what parents are saying about Infinity, the Math Institute.
She didn't like school. She really did not like to go to math class. she would be very upset. She wouldn't do her homework. With Infinity Math, she actually listened and wanted to succeed in math.
My kids were already good in math, but now they're excellent. My husband and me, we are so happy because we see how she is interested in math and that she is always excited to go. We are so glad we made this choice to send her to Infinity.
I like Infinity because it has broadened my children's view on math because Mr. Brookhagen is an awesome teacher.
Math is everywhere. There's no reason why our kids should hate it. Infinity changed that for my kids, and imagine what they can do for you.
Call Infinity, the Math Institute, at 702-768-1777. That's 768-1777. Infinity, the Math Institute. Don't get more math problems, get solutions.
Maybe it's time to take a fresh look at everything we thought we knew about landing a great job. For instance, what if phenomenal careers start at the middle school science fair instead of at the job fair? If being the captain of the robotics team means just as much on a college application as being captain of the football team. And if knowing the quadratic formula is every bit as important as knowing the right people. Well, the fact is, the jobs of the future will be heavily geared towards science, technology, engineering, and math. In other words, the future is STEM. More opportunities, better pay. And the road to these great jobs starts as early as middle school. So if you're a student, talk to your school counselor about STEM. If you're a parent, talk to your kids. Because the job you'll get in the future may very well depend on what you do today. A public service message from America's Navy.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
From my point of view, to impeach any president over a phone call like this would be insane.
Oh, yeah, nothing like a little TI to wake you up in the morning. Welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by Carolyn Goodman, the mayor of Las Vegas. Very controversial ordinance that was put in place in regards to the homeless. So we will be getting to that in just a little bit. Speaking of controversial, I could probably not name you one TI song. I don't like rap today. I'm more 80s hip-hop, B.I.G., 90s, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I grew up in that era of rap, even Run DMC going way back. Those are the rappers that I grew up listening to, and I actually think they were extremely talented, and some of them are still alive, some of them are not. Not a T.I. guy. I know he's been in some movies, whatever. I don't consider him extremely talented. But anyway, that's here nor there.
He's actually really, really talented, and he's a good guy. I met him last year.
He sounds like a great guy.
I met him last year in L.A. at a music video shoot, and he was very, very polite.
Okay, well,
very respectable, actually.
Well, let's see if you're still a fan of T.I. This is rapper T.I. himself telling Ladies Like Us podcast he takes his daughter to the gynecologist to check for her hymen. This is one of the most disgusting and vile things I've ever heard in my life. All right, this is rapper T.I. in his own words.
You had the sex talk with your daughters?
Have I? We go.
Which, by the way, your daughters are so beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful.
So,
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you have your hands full.
And the other one's 18, so she definitely knows about sex.
See,
but
this
I'm
is
just
the
wait,
thing.
it's Deja, right? She's 18,
yes,
right?
Deja's 18, just graduated high school now, and she's attending her first year of college, figuring it out for herself. And yes, not only have we had the conversation, we have yearly trips to the gynecologist to check her hymen.
Oh, okay.
I'm done with you right now.
So,
do you
go
with her? She's a prisoner.
Yes, I go with her.
Somebody check on Deja.
I go with her.
Why don't somebody check T.I.'s genitalia to see if it's still intact? I mean, this is so disgusting. First of all, why is he going with her? Second of all, why is he in the room with her? And why is he so interested? Why can't he just ask her? So, well, I don't believe my daughter when she says she's a virgin, so I'm going to go with her to the hospital to see if she is, and I'm going to watch the doctor inspect her vagina to see. This is one of the most disgusting, and he's serious, by the way. He's not joking when he talks. This is a serious story.
Do you actually think that he's in the doctor's office with her when that's happening, or do you think that he just drives her there and waits in the waiting room while the doctor is checking and the doctor gives him an update, or she gives him an update?
Well, he said he goes with her.
Well, that could mean a number of things.
So you're assuming that he's not in the...
I'm just going to give him the
Either
benefit.
way, are you defending us?
No, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the... No, I'm not defending. I'm tired of you doing that, Brian. Just because I have a question doesn't mean I'm complicit or I'm defending something.
It sounds... I didn't say
no,
you were
come
complicit.
On, stop it.
I asked you a question.
I'm saying it's possible he just
You said you're a big fan.
I am a big fan, but he just sits there in the waiting room. It's very possible. He didn't
So,
say.
I'll tell you what
he
I think
didn't
you should
say
do.
he specifically goes in there and watches her or watches her doctor toil around
Here's what we're gonna do.
in her genital areas.
Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. Here's what I would suggest. Since you are a fan of T.I., here's what I think we should do. We're going to invite T.I. in studio. We're going to get a big 8x10 picture of T.I., and we're going to have him sign it to J.D. My daughter's hymen says hello, T.I. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to hang it up on the wall.
I think that's very appropriate.
Yeah. Can you make it out to my daughter's hymen, please? Come on, be honest. This is disgusting. Is it not? This is gross. Why? First of all, why is he talking about this in this podcast? Can you imagine how that conversation with T.I. and his daughter went? Okay, we got to take you to the doctor. We got to check your hymen. I want to know if you're still a virgin, because when you tell me you're a virgin, I don't believe you. So I'm taking you to the doctor right now, and we're going to find out. Can you imagine? I mean, that had to be the way the conversation went, right? It had to. How does that conversation go?
I really have no idea.
Well, it had to happen.
I'd like to not know. I know that I would never do what T.I. is doing.
I hope not.
And I do have a daughter, and I am hoping that he just waits. I'm hoping that he just drives her to the gynecologist and waits in the waiting area and isn't there actually while the doctor is doing what the doctor needs to do to evaluate that particular part of her anatomy.
Hey, Jessica, you're getting at that age now where you might be sexually active. Are you a virgin? Yes, Daddy, I'm a virgin. I don't believe you. I want to check your hymen.
Now, it's not like he's personally checking her hymen. Again, he is hopefully transporting her to the appropriate place.
Transporting her through helicopter, through LifeStart? How is he being transported?
Probably a Bentley. I don't know, a Lamborghini, a car that's 7 times nicer than your car.
Do you think they call it? That was not a very nice thing to say. You're very hostile to me today. I don't know why.
No, I'm fine.
Do you think they go by ambulance? Do you think it's an emergency? Do they call 911? My daughter says she's not a virgin. I don't believe her. I need her hymen checked immediately. You call 911?
It's hymen patrol. I call the hymen patrol.
Yeah. Why are you taking a shot at my car, by the way? I just got a new car. Why are you making fun of me?
Come on. Obviously, he's going to drive some ridiculous automobile to take her to the doctor.
You've been very mean to me this week. I want to check your hymen. You've been very mean to me. I don't know what's wrong with you, JD. I've been very nice to you lately. I don't know why. You have an attitude with me today. Is it because I'm making fun of you because you're a T.I. fan?
No,
is that what it is?
You're making these very, very
gross assumptions,
sweeping assumptions and generalizations.
Use my term.
With very little substance behind them. Obviously, this is odd, but we don't know how odd it is. So until I know how odd it is, I'm not going to say it's crazy over the top.
So for the record,
but I would personally not do this, and I've been on record saying that now twice.
But for the record, you don't think it's odd.
I did say it was odd.
But how odd? You just said you don't think it's crazy.
Well, I think it's odd regardless, but hopefully it's not as odd as you think it is. Hopefully it's not him actually, standing there with his hand over his chin, watching the doctor do his business
with a magnifying glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, that's good. That's an A+. Last time it was an A-. Hopefully it's not that odd. Hopefully it's just
Okay. Well, we have some breaking news.
Okay.
The breaking news.
What is the breaking news,
We have
Brian?
just learned that he is not actually in the room, but he asked the doctor afterwards. So I want to know what that conversation is with that doctor. He goes up to that doctor. So how's my daughter's hymen looking? I'm just curious how that conversation starts. That's all. That's all. The Ocasio-Cortez cutout is in studio. Should we ask her? I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous. I think that is a personal thing. And I don't care if you're 15 years old or 25.
Cardboard AOC. What's the word? What's the verdict?
I'll tell you what, she's looking pretty hot in studio today. She's wearing that Boston University outfit. And if you don't know what we're talking about,
she wears that every day.
We do have a few cardboard cutouts.
She needs a
that's
better
okay.
wardrobe.
Then she's like me. I wear the same clothes every day, too.
So do
There's nothing wrong with that.
I literally do every day.
So we have Ocasio-Cortez in studio
So she
here.
fits in.
And we have Mike Lindell.
I want him gone.
The guy.
I'm tired of Mike Lindell.
I want his pillows gone because they suck.
He freaks me out.
His pillow, he's a fraud.
We need an OJ cutout.
I do want an OJ cutout.
We need a Trump cutout.
I need a Pete Buttigieg cutout.
Definitely
too.
a Pete Buttigieg cutout. We definitely need a Hillary cutout.
I want a Hymen cutout. That was horrible. That was terrible.
We need a cutout of Bill Clinton and his look at Ariana Grande both at the same time. We need a couple of fat heads. There's a lot of things we need in here.
I want to see Hillary Clinton's legs. I want a Hillary Clinton cutout when she's wearing a very tight dress. That's what I want to see.
That would be called the cankle cutout.
Well, I didn't say that. You're making fun of her body. I think she's a very beautiful woman. I don't know what you have against Hillary Clinton.
I actually do not believe she's a beautiful woman.
All right, well, that's fine.
At all.
Cankles. That's not very nice. God, everyone's, all shapes and sizes. If somebody is shaped like a pear, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm probably prejudiced against cankles.
You don't like cankles?
I'm not a huge fan.
You're not a fan of cankles?
I'm not a giant fan.
What about hymens?
Different conversation.
Oh, different conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the same conversation.
No, it's not.
That's just my.
No, it's not.
Listen, you're talking about a woman and her sexuality. I think it's the same conversation.
Cankles have nothing to do with sexuality, Brian. They're very,
what
very.
do you mean it has nothing to do with sexuality? You're saying you're not attracted to Hillary Clinton because she has cankles. No, it has everything to do with sexuality.
Has nothing to do with sexuality.
Oh, really? So are you attracted to a woman with cankles?
You can see cankles very, very clearly.
Well,
a hymen is a completely different story. It takes a lot to be.
Yes or no? We have 10 seconds. Are you attracted to
Anywhere
a woman
near
that
a
has
hymen.
cankles? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you attracted to a woman that has cankles? Yes or no?
I am not attracted to
then
Hillary.
It's sexual. Thank you very
I
much.
am not attracted to Hillary Clinton for a number of reasons. Cankles is one of them.
Fine. You just don't like her politics. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back in a few minutes, we'll be joined by Mayor Carolyn Goodman. We're not going to ask her about cankles. We'll take a quick break. Be back right after this.
Democrats on the House impeachment inquiry are avoiding court challenges and now say they hope to decide on impeachment by Christmas. Democratic Congressman Jerry Connolly.
I certainly support expediting the process. I don't think it needs to be dragged out. I think we have the facts and the basic narrative in front of us and have for quite some time.
Democrats dropped a request to interview former National Security Advisor John Bolton after he threatened a court challenge. Good news in the battle against wildfires in California. The Northern California wildfire, the Kincaid Fire in Sonoma County, is now fully contained. Fire destroyed 174 homes. The government says more than 2,000 people have been diagnosed with vaping illness in the U.S. Another 40 people have died from it. On Wall Street, stocks are up today. The Dow up about 250 points at this hour. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads in the KDON Traffic Center.
This report sponsored by Sam and Ash. Watch for slowing for a crash I-15 northbound at the 215 Southern Beltway, blocking the right lane, slowing from Silverado Ranch Boulevard. Also an accident I-15 North Sahara at the exit ramp. And on the 95, an accident northbound at Las Vegas Boulevard. On the surface streets, accident with injury sustained reported Charleston at Valley View Boulevard. Police and fire with the scene expect slowing and lane restrictions. You deserve accident attorneys who are in your corner and do what's right. You deserve Sam and Ash. Call Sam and Ash 24/7. 1-800-304-2000, 1-800-304-2000. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Are you interested in owning rental properties right here in the Las Vegas area? Auction.com, the nation's leading real estate auctioneer, must sell 102 rental properties in the Las Vegas and Henderson markets. These are turnkey, income-producing single-family homes and condos with tenants and leases in place. That's right, the tenants are in place and currently paying rent on over 100 homes to be auctioned individually at auction.com/radio. Financing is available and a broker co-op is being offered for this one-time unprecedented online auction to be held November 11 through 13. Add more rentals to your portfolio, diversify your investments to add real estate, or buy your very first real estate investment. This is an auction that can't be missed. View all homes and auction details at auction.com/radio. That's www.auction.com/radio. Auction is subject to a reserve.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. We'll also have a dolphin chatter excitedly in front of the perfect candidate. Okay, there's no dolphin. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
If your retirement plan is on set it and forget it, it's time to take control. Tune in Saturday at 4 p.m. for Financial Safari with America's Wealth Coach and best-selling author, Coach Pete D'Arruda. For more than 25 years, Coach Pete has been helping people just like you plan for retirement. Join Coach Pete every week as he discusses topics like why your retirement plan should also be an income plan and how to make sure you're getting the most out of your 401k. Financial Safari with Coach Pete, Saturday afternoons at 4 on KDWN 101.5 FM and 720 AM.
And now a message from the traffic cone you ran over on Blue Diamond last week.
Okay, ow, that hurt. I know, you're in a hurry, but I could have been killed. Look, I have a wife and a baby cone on the way. I'm out there risking it all. And for what? I'll tell you, Southern Nevada's economic future. I'm helping the I-11 get built and the Centennial Bowl. So show a cone a little love.
Love the cone. For road construction details, visit seeingorangenv.com or call 702-928-CONE.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. See, that's my kind of music. I prefer that music over T.I., but that's just me. I like a little rock and roll in my life. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by the mayor herself, Carolyn Goodman, to talk about this new ordinance. So what is this ordinance? What does this mean? Well, if you missed what we spoke about earlier in the show or the last few days, it's in regards to the homeless and what do we do about the homeless. Obviously, we have a big homeless issue here in Las Vegas. It's an issue throughout the country, especially downtown. So you have these people that are sleeping on the streets, that are camping out on the streets, and in some cases even defecating in front of businesses or even on private property. So what do we do to solve this problem? We've had a lot of people, including former Mayor Oscar Goodman, say, let's bus some of these people to Gene. Let's build more shelters, some people say. So we've heard all these different things. Well, Carolyn Goodman put this into law. It makes it a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months in jail and or a $1,000 fine if you camp or sleep in the public right-of-way in certain areas of the city. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you are homeless, how do you have access to $1,000? If someone is cited, they're just going to rip it up. It's a waste of taxpayer money. You're not going to get, what, 1 out of every 100 people might pay this thing? It's absurd. However, some people agree with the mayor, and I respect their opinion, that you should go to jail. I don't agree with it, but I want to hear that argument. I want to hear that from her. I want to hear why we all think that it is appropriate to put a homeless person in jail. It confuses me, and I disagree with it, and I'll tell you who else disagrees with it. This woman is a homeless veteran, and she spoke to a local reporter. And she is upset with Mayor Carolyn Goodman because she has nowhere to go. Listen to her.
They don't hear what we're saying. This is absolutely the beginning, and I will work with everybody and anybody who wants to support this to recall the mayor. This is absolutely unacceptable. I can't imagine what she is thinking, but it certainly isn't about people. And at the end of the day, we are all people. We are Americans, and we are Nevadans.
Well, Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore would disagree with her. She's on the side of the mayor. She was on Fox and Friends defending this ordinance. Here's what she had to say.
What we're doing with this ordinance is giving them many options. One, if you just can't camp on public or private property, especially if there's space for you to go and sleep and have a space to come to. Mm-hmm. Second, the officers will ask them to either move along or if they don't know where our corridor of hope is or where the beds are, we'll actually transport them to there. So there's choices.
Okay, but here's where I disagree with that statement. Many of these shelters don't have the space. They don't have the resources. They don't have the wherewithal. It's not that easy. Is there a small percentage of the homeless out there that do not want to be helped? Absolutely. There's no question. Many of these people are mentally ill. They have substance abuse issues, drug problems, gambling problems, you name it. But I do believe, listen, we had what? I feel like we had a dozen of homeless people call into the show earlier today. People that are living in their cars that are listening to our show, and God bless them. People who are on the streets. We had a gentleman call in yesterday who's living in a church, and he was listening to our show on his phone. There are people that are in dire straits right now that disagree. There's no easy solution here. This is a very complex situation. We need to care for people that are less fortunate than us. And I'm not talking about throwing them $5. I'm not talking about buying them a burger. Okay, we need to talk about long-term solutions. Now, that's all nice and everything. And JD, I've seen you do that before. And I've been in the car when you've helped people out. I've seen it. I've seen you do that. And it's very nice of you to do that. And it gives them maybe some immediate happiness. But as you know, we don't have the means, you and me, for the long-term solution. We can only make them be happy, maybe give them a lunch or something, which is fine. But
well, I mean, let's think about this logistically. Let's say that I want to give a homeless person $10,000 in cash. How does that even work out? I hand them a big bag of cash. Do they have a Venmo account? Do they have PayPal?
I don't think so.
It's very, very difficult to help someone that's homeless and give them enough. When you in a major city like LA, where homelessness is twice as bad as it is here, you probably need $50,000 to get on your feet.
Right.
I mean, because it's so hard to find a job in specific areas, and the standard of living is so high. The amount of money that you would have to give someone would just be, you'd have to be a multi-millionaire, and they would have to have the means to take it and to turn it into something that would be a positive for them. So, I mean, logistically, it's actually very difficult to help someone to the extent that you're talking about, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not an easy fix. There's no question about it. So here's what I want to do. I want to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will be joined by Mayor Carolyn Goodman. I have plenty of questions for her. I want her to talk about this new ordinance and why she thinks it will help. Others think it might hurt. We are very divided on this issue, but we appreciate the fact that the mayor is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this with the mayor. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
So there's this guy named Jordan, and he's a healthy guy. He's a dad of 6, and he works as a guide in Alaska. But then he goes to the doctor, and he's diagnosed with cancer, stage 4. And here's the thing. He had switched from medical insurance to MediShare, which is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry. So the question for Jordan and his wife Jenny was, is this really going to work?
Our medical bills exceeded $160,000. MediShare members shared all our bills.
And it was about more than just the money, too. This is a real community.
MediShare is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life. I just don't know how I could have done it without MediShare.
It's so worth looking into. There's a reason this is growing so fast. If you want to find out more, here's a number for you. 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. 844-91-BIBLE.
Looking for that perfect new piece of furniture for your home? A New Concept Furniture is the place to start and end your search. They'll beat any price on the internet, and they're here locally, so you can feel what you're buying first. Go to A New Concept Furniture today at 4255 South Grand Canyon to see for yourself the slick, modern, shiny store that mirrors our shiny city. A New Concept. Check out their showroom or call them at 702-570-2240. That's 702-570-2240.
Does your child love math? Do they just love math so much that once they finish their homework, they want to work on extra math problems just for fun? Anyone? If you answered no, then you are not alone. While your child may not think math is important for their future, we know better. That's because Infinity the Math Institute offers the best math tutors in Las Vegas, produces the best results at the best prices for kids of all ages. Infinity the Math Institute does it all. Does your child need prep for the SATs? Right now, SAT preparation classes in November are just $15. Fractions, algebra, geometry, decimals, you name it. Plus, Infinity offers homeschool programs, free seminars for parents and students. And whether your child is transitioning from elementary school to middle school to high school, or preparing for college, Infinity can help. Classes are filling up. Call us now to find out more. 702-768-1777. That's 768-1777. You want the best results for your child? One call to Infinity can have a huge impact on your child's future. Call now. 768-1777. Tell them the Vegas Take sent you.
SportsX Radio Radio Nation, what's up? It's Ken Thompson, host of Sports X Radio, reminding you to catch me at my new time, 8 to 10 p.m. for all the local Vegas sports coverage, plus the national scene as well. That's Sports X Radio on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Amid Las Vegas's glitz and glamour lurks the tragedy of homeless veterans, our nation's heroes who return from war but continue to fight a battle for survival on our city's gritty streets. The basic human need of shelter shouldn't be a luxury to military heroes, which is why there is Veterans Village. Veterans Village is a nonprofit organization providing transitional housing, meals, and social services to homeless vets to give them a hand up. Veterans Village is a place of hope, but we can't do it without you. Be a hero to heroes and donate any amount you can afford at vvlv.org. That's vvlv.org. vvlv.org.
Steve Sanchez, weekdays 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Thursday. By the way, Mike Babcock will be joining us tomorrow on the show, and certainly we're going to continue this conversation tomorrow in regards to the homeless issue because, it's a controversial ordinance that was put into place. And for those of you that are unaware, if you are on the streets and you are homeless, you could have to face up to a $1,000 fine, and you could be sent to jail for up to 6 months. Now, the people who are on the side of this thing are saying that it's a step in the right direction, that it's going to help and hopefully eventually clear the streets. The people who are against it are saying, well, wait a second, this is going to cause these homeless people to create more crime, and it's not going to solve the issue that the prisons weren't put in place for the homeless. They're for violent criminals, right? They're not for people that are just happen to be homeless that are living on the streets. Now, I'm kind of on their side when it comes to this stuff, but I certainly want to hear the mayor's side and why she decided to do this. But I think we all can agree, and I think the problem is if somebody knows one homeless person, they just assumes everybody is just like maybe their family member. It's a case-by-case basis. Some people are mentally ill. I would imagine many of them who are homeless are mentally ill. Some of them have substance abuse issues, whether it be alcohol or drugs or gambling.
A lot of gambling in Vegas, Brian.
Yeah,
a lot of it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of different reasons for why you're homeless. There's not one reason. You can't pinpoint one reason. And,
I will tell you this. A lot of the reasons, none of those reasons are available in a jail. You can't gamble. You can't drink alcohol.
But they're also...
You can't do heroin.
Okay, but just because... I agree. But just because they're not doing it doesn't mean when they get out of jail, they won't start up again.
Well, as long as education takes place along with it, when they're in jail,
they don't have access to a lot of those things.
Exactly. That's the issue, is that there has to be something that addresses the issue, that there needs to be some type of evaluation. Hey, where were you 5 years ago? What happened in your life to put you in the point now where you're homeless? And then you have some type of of protocol or educational structure that in jail that you learn or that you are given to help yourself, so that when you do get out of jail, you learn, or you don't want to do the things that you did to put yourself in the position that you're already in.
Now, listen, this is going to cost money. And
I'm aware.
But I don't like the term jail for some of these people. I believe that if you had some facilities put in place, not jail, but they're forced to be in these facilities, and they can't leave the facility, so it's not jail. In a way, like a psychiatric ward, only for the homeless people, so they can get the help they need when it comes to mental illness.
You're talking like a 60-acre fenced-in area with a with a gym or a barracks where they have a place to eat, a place to sleep, a place to shower.
Well, like Oscar Goodman was talking about.
Education implemented for specific people for whatever their malady is or their vice is.
Oscar Goodman, the former mayor of Las Vegas, was talking about busing these people to a old jail facility that's not a jail anymore, but the facility could be used and up and running to house these people, to give them the help they need. So it's not a jail, but they have to be there until they're deemed ready to be back into society and they can contribute, and they don't have those issues.
So it's like a rehabilitation encampment?
In a way, yes, because a lot of these people need rehabilitation. A lot of these people have issues where they need help.
And where is the money coming from to pay for that?
Well, that's the big question. But I would make the argument that what they have put into place, this ordinance, is going to cost more money. If you put someone in jail, I would rather have a violent criminal there or someone who's selling methamphetamines to children. I'd rather have somebody like that in jail than a homeless person who might be mentally ill, who is only hurting themselves.
Well, there would be an issue if the jail gets too overcrowded and and someone commits a heinous crime and there's nowhere for them to go, and there's 10 or 12 homeless people that have just gotten caught off the street one day, and then someone murders 5 people. There's a serial killer. He gets caught, and there's no place for him in jail. I mean, something like that could definitely take place.
And make no mistake about it, I'm not saying that there's an easy fix to this problem, because it's not. I have a lot of sympathy for people that are in dire straits, and you could make the argument a lot of it is their fault and they put themselves there. I don't think it's that simple. But there's no question that something needs to be done here. I'm not sure if this is the right way to go about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just not sure. But this is a difficult situation for Las Vegas, and it's a difficult issue for the country. So joining us right now on the line, we appreciate her taking some time to join us, the mayor of Las Vegas, Carolyn Goodman. Carolyn, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you, Carolyn.
I couldn't be better. Thank you very much. Are you calling from Las Vegas?
We are here in Las Vegas. We are in the KDWN studios, and your husband I've known your husband for years. He's been on my show plenty of times. And
yes, well, our weather's great. We've been hearing from different parts of the country, so some of the places aren't enjoying our wonderful weather. You go ahead right to your question.
We are right here in Las Vegas, and I've always had a great amount of respect for you and your husband.
Thank you.
But this is a very difficult subject we've been talking about this morning, and that is the homeless issue. So this new ordinance put into place, a homeless person. Let me start with the fine, because I'm confused about this, Carolyn, and maybe you could help me out with this. If you are homeless, you don't have means to a lot of money, so what is a fine going to do to solve the situation?
It's not about that at all, and the goal is not to criminalize homelessness or send them to jail. It is about getting those who can make choices to come in and get the help to get back into a life of great integrity for themselves and worth and value, and get back into job training, get a job, and get housing. So it's not the negative end that is the one that's more exciting for everybody to complain about. That is not the purpose of this at all. And as you know, I mean, the advocates that are for helping the homeless get back into life, and our service providers, that's what we're all after, is getting them into the needed programs, jobs, and housing. You cannot, the housing is an issue across this country, has been since the first year of President Obama, with whom we worked with their cabinet to talk about this interim housing. But for some, they're not ready for housing. They have to get ready to get back into the world first, and that's part of this.
Sure.
We're trying to ask for a choice, come to make the choice to get help.
Okay, now I don't disagree with you with what you just said, but my question to you is, if that's the case, then why even put this on the books? Why put somebody, or even put it on the books where somebody could, in fact, spend up to 6 months in jail if they're homeless? Why even put that on the books?
Because that's not choice making on their part. These probably, if it were to come to that, first of all, they're homeless. They probably don't have the money. That's number one. If, in fact, they're homeless and they're not of sound mind or body or in a position to make a choice that I want help me. In some cases where severe drug and alcohol is the condition, a time in the jail where they will be in a sanitary condition, they will have meals, will be a time for them to realize they will detox automatically, at which point now they're in a position to make a choice because the drugs aren't clouding everything, and they will make the choice, oh my gosh, I can get back into the world now, I want my family back, I want help. And this is a help-driven incentive. That won't go into place anyway until February 1st, and nobody will be picked up and incarcerated at all if, in fact, that we have beds. It's only when the choice is made not to take advantage of the choice to have a bed. When the beds are filled in every place in our social service network and what the city is providing, if there are beds available, we expect them to come in. It's the choice they have. Otherwise, they can be fined with a misdemeanor. This is not a felony, a misdemeanor, and try to help them get into good choice making. So they will come in for help. This is all help-driven, not criminal or penalty-driven.
And I agree. The argument is, are they safer on the streets or are they safer in jails? You mentioned the ordinance specifically mentions specific public places where they can be picked up for this. Can you specify what those places are?
There's a map, and I don't have one in front of me. The area, if you go online to the city website, you should have the entire PowerPoint or an access to ask for the PowerPoint that was presented yesterday so well, and showing the areas, but not in residential areas, of course, and in the heart of the city.
If you're just joining us, it is Mayor Carolyn Goodman talking about this new ordinance with the homeless. Okay, so let me ask you this. I know your husband is no longer the mayor, and I have great respect for him, but he's talked about this issue before publicly, and he mentioned maybe bus some of these people to Gene, where there is a jail, a former jail there, where they could get that thing up and running, where perhaps that could be an option. Have you discussed that with your husband, and is that something down the road that maybe you would consider?
Well, knowing that I'm into my 9th year as mayor, and he did 12 years, where it happened, and until I came up with my plea to Governor Sandoval starting probably 7 years ago, I was asking only for the use of the women's prison in Gene, which he had a duplicate of up in the Reno-Carson area that was unused, a women's prison for our severely mentally ill. These are people that are so sadly handicapped by the depths of the mental illness. They can't make choices that are wise for them. They do live in a very challenged sanitary and health condition. They are harmful to themselves and others. And I called him, and what I subsequently found out, and that has been more recently, but I did keep on Governor Sandoval to ask him, could he work this through, that facility, that women's prison in Gene, is operated by the Department of Prisons. It was used for a while by the Clark County School District for storage, and it did sit vacant. I absolutely, since that time, and so much has happened during the past 8 years as we created the Corridor of Hope, and all of our social services have really developed and grown to help with 3 Square and everyone working together for the homeless, that we really then, with no barriers, created and continue to create and develop the courtyard. That, in fact, gave us the opportunity for those who make the choice to get back into life and want help to help that component of the homeless. The ones that are the severely mentally challenged that cannot make that choice, that is a perfect place. Our Muni Court has said they would work and help. We have psychologists and psychiatrists that are offering to volunteer. The problem, it's stuck in state government. And so that was why I even had the Department of Health in here probably talking about that, because this population can't care for themselves. And for a caring community, which Las Vegas is, it's absolutely appalling that these people have to live in the awful environment that they don't know how to fix. They can't make that choice.
Well,
so to answer you, the answer is absolutely yes. Oscar was looking at it, what you've told me, and what he may have told me 12 years ago was for the homeless. I'm not. This is only for the severely mentally ill that need protection from the rest of society as well as from themselves and others of the same challenge.
Yeah, well, we definitely agree on that. I'm sure you would agree as well. This is a very complex issue. There's no easy solution. Unfortunately, we got to get going. Carolyn, I appreciate your time, and I hope we can have you on again soon, sometime down the road. Maybe we can get a little deeper into this and get you on again. But we really do appreciate your time. We know how busy you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jason.
All right. Appreciate that. There you go.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Mayor Carolyn Goodman joining us. Hopefully we'll be able to get her on again when we have a little bit of time, but we got to go. We are up against it. We appreciate her taking some time to join us. I have a feeling we're going to continue to discuss this topic. Certainly we will try to get more information on it, and we'll discuss it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, folks. Coming up next, the man himself, Sean Hannity, will be joining us. We're going to take a 21-hour break. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Catch you tomorrow.
The only FM news talk station in the Valley. 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
NATO brain death. Trade talk tease. I'm Mike Moss. French President Emmanuel Macron says